HCPSS at Wild Lake High School was one of the most rewarding professional experiences of my life. The word that comes up over and over again when I think about my time there is gratitude. I came into secondary education as a long-term fac sub in 2016 during a significant transitional period in my life. So when the opportunity to leave the demanding life of the professional kitchen and go into the classroom as an alt-ed paraeducator presented itself, I knew it was a godsend. Being at Wild Lake started off as an opportunity to be more available for my own children after divorce, but it became so much more. I transformed within those walls. The best thing I became was the inventor and keeper of the Peace Room. Some folks from Central Office visited shortly after my departure, and some of you may have heard of it. For anyone unfamiliar with the space, the Peace Room is an embedded, student-informed, and community-led safe space. The Peace Room is a community hub where curiosity precedes consequences, and creative restorative justice solutions can be observed, questioned, measured, and revealed. It poses a practical solution for the relationship problem at the heart of inequity, where students are equitable partners in developing the terms of our relationships with them. The Peace Room is a place students come by choice. One student said, "The Peace Room is a space for every type of person to come in and learn. It's the type of learning regular classes do not provide. As a straight A honors GT and AP senior, I've been in all types of spaces. The things I've learned about myself, about others, about how to communicate, I haven't learned anywhere else ever. It teaches social emotional wellness, but also provides space for people to just be them." Students said, "I use the Peace Room when I can't sit in class without having a loud outburst, or when my day isn't going well and I just need to cool off. Or I use it to spend lunch with my friends, or when I feel down and I need some place to feel okay. Or when I'm having a good day and I want to share positivity." They said, "I go to the Peace Room for a break to get myself together, and it opened up more space in my head to actually learn instead of faking it." With consent from classroom teachers, they could access it freely without an appointment according to self-defined adolescent urgency. They can pop in and find an adult whose only responsibility is to listen. In the absence of shame, blame, and the usual power structures that come with content teacher and student or administrator and student relational dynamics, a Peace Room can be the neutral ground where life-saving or grade-saving information is unearthed and activated. As a para, I was able to align my heart's work and ideals around social justice with a job that made sense for life as a parent. I'm thankful for the training I received through the Restorative Justice Partnership and incredibly proud of the work I've done with the administration and members of the Restorative Justice team at my former school. I truly believed we changed what high school means for the students we served and cared for. I was free to create and operate the Peace Room because I was classified as a paraprofessional. I had the time. I was also free to do it because the cost of my labor and creativity were capped at the poverty line. My school could afford me, but it cost me. It relied on my sacrifice, my love, and the consent I gave the Howard County Public School System to exploit my labor. Unsurprisingly, this dynamic was not sustainable. Like many paraprofessionals or ESPs, I chose this job because it supported my role as a caretaker for my children and helped recoup medical benefits lost from divorce. Like many paraprofessionals, I had no desire to become a teacher. I loved being available to help with math homework, problem solving with students when they were in conflict with teachers or peers, earning the trust, the kind of trust needed to de-escalate volatile situations with a look, or building the kinds of relationships worthy of being named a student's trusted adult. I loved my work and wanted to continue. My choice to leave was informed by personal survival. The professional and emotional demands of the Peace Room affected my capacity to supplement income in the gig economy as a caterer or freelance writer. The necessity to do so is also shameful. ESPs in various roles give so much and receive so little in return. Our love and preference for this work is devalued based on antiquated definitions of skilled labor or misconceptions of our intellectual capacity or ambition. HCPSS and other school systems' standard for pay does harm to individuals such as myself and to the children we're able to invest in socially and emotionally in the absence of expectations to plan for or, quote, manage a class. If I am being vulnerable, the knowledge that my hard work could never yield a living wage took a toll on my mental health. Knowing that other HCPSS employees with similar educational credentials were paid far more because they work further from kids and closer to the powers that be chipped away at my overall feelings of worth. I felt I had to choose between my wellness and the community I love. I felt valued and appreciated at my school, but disposable to the Howard County Public School System. My principal did as much as she could with the resources afforded to her by this system. I dreaded telling her I was leaving because I knew her hands were tied. Principals deserve the resources to retain the staff they invest in. I wonder how they would utilize paraprofessionals if they were not presumed to be dispensable bodies filling space or managing tasks. I wonder what creative paths they create if they knew they could offer these staff members professional development, mentorship, and promotion opportunities. There is an army of ESPs who've already built the relationships we are asking content teachers to focus on in addition to their curriculums. Many are heading to part-time jobs after school when they could be utilized for tutoring or creative programming to enrich our communities and foster the sense of belonging that makes them safer or joyous. A bit of creativity on your part could liberate school principals' imaginations. Micro-credentials could do for education what they've done for tech and disintegrate the paper ceiling. Not everyone in education aspires to be a teacher or administrator. There are many of us who love where we are and the work we do, and the system can't run without us. Our relationship is mutually beneficial. For me, I got to be someone I needed when I was my students' age. I heard this story over and over again in alt-ed para meetings. The population of folks who serve the most vulnerable population of students resembles them. We are the folks who had to find creative pathways to survive and thrive. Our identities and life paths are shortcuts to empathy. We are uniquely qualified to care for them, and in doing so, we give them some of what we needed at their age. There was a man in the last alt-ed meeting I attended who I can't forget. We were having a group discussion to unpack frustrations and ways to meet needs below the surface, and it evolved into a conversation about pay. This man on my table began to speak. He talked about the love he had for his students and the pride he felt doing exactly what he was doing. He got to help students like himself and give them what no one gave him at their age. He was really soft-spoken, so the room fell silent as he spoke through quiet pauses. We soon realized that a longer pause was for his tears. This sizable man was crying in public because he knew that no matter how great he was for kids or how well he did his job, he would never be valued accordingly. Knowing your love is being exploited is a terrible feeling. Knowing that in order to continue doing the thing you love, you must consent to exploitation is a terrible feeling. My love wasn't exploited by the children or my school. It was by the Howard County education system who didn't value it or the labor I applied to it enough to offer me a living wage. I did get and am grateful for things like paid summer breaks, but this cap on the return of my labor ate away at me. Sacrifice as charity is noble, but sacrifice cannot be a career path. Many paras love their work and want to do it for a long time. Create pathways for them to invest in themselves like they're investing in the children in our community, so people like me can plant roots in the soil we water. I watered the Peace Room. It's still there and continues without me. The work will continue with or without any individual contributor. I do not assume that I am more fit than any other person in my position, but I was the one there. So it is my love and my time that nurtured the good that grew there, as is true for each individual who cultivates relationships in their classroom. This means that it is my loss some students feel. I don't say this to boast. I say this to note that students I kept a close eye on have gotten into fights, been admitted to the hospital or treatment facilities, or been incarcerated since my departure. I know this because the students reach out and tell me. There are people missing school who weren't before I left. I could be drawing unreasonable conclusions. I want to be wrong, but I don't know for sure. It's really hard not to connect certain dots. And I feel so small for leaving. But that shame doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the system for the way it allocates resources to students and staff who do not fit neatly into expectations for worth, value, or belonging. I'm here today to tell my story as a cautionary tale, but also as one of possibility. They showed me our potential. What happens when we train, trust, and activate support staff to be leaders in reimagining and executing real change. And now I can't allow us to go backwards. I'm here to request reform and reclassification for paraprofessionals and the ESPs who work most closely with the students this education system is tasked with serving. I'm asking that we revisit the way we think about credentials and the pay scale. I'm asking for us to redefine who we believe ESPs are or what their goals may be, and to create viable career paths for them. I don't want to throw my hands up and say the system is broken or kids these days. I'm offering up a solution and hoping someone wants to try something different. Thank you.
First of all, thank you for sharing your heart and sharing your experience. What you've shared is very valuable, and I really appreciate you being vulnerable and bringing it forth. Thank you.